Metro Vancouver. It's a regional government with a strange mascot and has had quite a year.
It's certainly, from my perspective, been very challenging.
That is Burnaby Mayor and Metro Vancouver Chair Mike Hurley. He became chair a year ago after Delta Council removed its mayor as their Metro Vancouver appointee, in the middle of a series of stories about expenses and cost overruns that continued for months. That eventually forced Metro Vancouver into reviews of the massively over-budget North Shore sewage plant and a separate review of its own governance. Hurley doesn't argue that the stories were unfair, but he does think they missed the forest for the trees.
I think we certainly put a lot of materials out that weren't reported, or for whatever reason. I don't think too many people understand what Metro Vancouver actually does.
Now, politicians everywhere would like it if the media only focused on the good stuff. And it's true that headlines like basic regional water services are working A-OK aren't going to set the world on fire. But explaining how Metro Vancouver works helps explain why this problem emerged in the first place. You see, Metro Vancouver is a patchwork of 21 municipalities, from Vancouver with 700,000 people to Little Belcarrow with just 700. About 80% of its budget goes towards regional water and waste utility services, but it also does a few other things around parks, housing, and air quality. Now, that mix of responsibilities isn't particularly unique, but what is unique about Metro Vancouver is how politicians give oversight, or rather, how many. In most big urban areas in Canada, those services are overseen by the same mayor and council that oversees other local services. While there are some exceptions, like Montreal or the Mississauga-Brampton area of Peel in Ontario, they tend to be of moderate size. British Columbia does have 26 other regional districts that provide similar services, but because they oversee a more rural and suburban area as well, there are less separate mayors around the table. Metro Vancouver is the only regional political body with this number of politicians in the room in the entire country, mostly for utility services that aren't particularly political. Only 2 of those 41 directors are paid to treat Metro Vancouver like their full-time job. It means that there aren't a lot of people around to give constant oversight, but a lot of people around when things start to go wrong to point fingers.
Compare it to, say, a municipality or a city council, I think there would be a lot more, there'd be way more responsiveness, more timely responsiveness. And I think partly that is because 41 people versus, say, 7. I think it's easier to touch base with the various elected officials, have a plan, and then move forward.
And this matters because that governance review of Metro Vancouver is about to be made public, likely in the next couple weeks. And a number of directors think it will look at bigger questions, like if every municipality needs to be represented, or even if some municipalities should merge.
I don't know how to change the governing model so that everybody still has a say, because you look at right now, we allow a say from mayor of Vancouver or mayor of Surrey, but we also allow a say from a mayor of Anmore or a mayor of Port Moody.
Now, nobody knows for sure what the actual report will say, and as Wes points out, Metro Vancouver is ultimately a creature of the province.
Who Metro Vancouver is, and what it should be responsible for, and what its governance should look like. At the end of the day, it's going to be the provincial government having to make a change if there's going to be a change.
It would be a giant domino effect if complaints about travel led to the elimination of entire municipalities. But Metro Vancouver has always been unique, and its next chapter might be even more so. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.